Hi, welcome to Jenna Plans Life, where we talk all things planning, budgeting, and organizing. The lighting's probably really sucky right now because I'm filming this at 8 p.m., but I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about my monthly goals. I'm a really big goal person. I love setting quarterly goals. I love setting monthly goals. I used to do weekly goals, but my life is it's too hectic for weekly goals. So I have goals that I set every month, and what I've done differently this year that I didn't do last year. Last year I had quarterly goals that were separate from my monthly goals or my financial goals. Everything was separate, and that was okay. But I think this year I'm really trying to focus and hone in more and find a way to have my goals actually be front and center in my mind. And so my quarterly goals and monthly goals align with one another. And I'm really happy about that. I'm really excited about it. And so I wanted to just jump in really quickly and show you first what my quarterly goals are, talk a little bit about how January went, and then talk about February. So I planned it all out already. I was at work today and the internet was down, and so I thought, well, why not? So let's go to the goals section. So my vision board leads all of my goals. Everything that I'm doing this year, I'm really just focusing on 3 goals for the whole year, which is not like me. I usually have like 7 or 8, but I wanted to keep it simple because life has just been complex. So first, jumping into my quarterly goals. So my quarterly goals, I have a financial one, I have a personal one, and I have one that's like related to my business, and that could be school related, it could be planner related, but I wanted to just outline very specifically 3 succinct, distinctive goals in 3 areas of my life. That way it's easier for me to come up with action plans and to just make sure that my life is becoming the life that I want it to be. So my first goal for the quarter is a financial goal, and I'm building my emergency fund. This goal, actually, when I go through my quarterly review, I'm not going to meet that number. And I learned very quickly in January in 2023 that trying to save that amount every 3 months, it's just too ambitious of me. So like the idea of putting aside $400 per paycheck, I cannot do that. And I really thought that I could because when I was moving, when I had to move, I put aside $400 per paycheck for like, I think we moved in September, and I had all my money saved from January until like April, and I just was saving it like that. And that's a mindset I can't exist in on a daily basis, and so I'm not really holding myself to this. But the overall goal of having money in my emergency fund, saving money for it, is still the same. So my first goal was to save $2,400 for my emergency fund by the end of March. I'm cutting that kind of in half. So instead of putting aside $403 per paycheck, my goal right now is to put aside $200 per paycheck to have $400 a month. So that's the first goal. And this sheet is something that I made. It's part of a planner pack that I made for my friend. And I bought like a gold printable bundle thing off Etsy, and it has something similar, but I just love the layout of mine. I love the questions that I have. It just fits me. So even though I don't use all the portions of this planner that I made, I have this one and I love it, so I'm sticking with it. So it has what my goal is, why I want to achieve it, my action steps, my rewards, and am I going to be all right if I don't do it? And this question to me is really important because it helps me with realizing the depths of importance of these goals. So a lot of times the answer is no, like it says here, and sometimes it's yes because it's a different goal. So that's my financial goal. My goal, my personal goal for this quarter is to read 1 to 3 books pertaining to my word of the year. For those of you who don't know, my word of the year is faith. I'm not a religious person. I am a spiritual person. And I realize that when things get hard, I tend to get really not great to be around. And so I wanted to work on believing that everything will be all right no matter what. And to me, that's what this word means, is that no matter what happens, I will be okay. That's already been tested because I had surgery and then I got infected and things are looking up. So it really tested, I was tested in this from the jump. But back to the goal. The goal was to read 1 to 3 books. I was initially thinking I could read 1 book a month. And I used to be a reader. Like when I was a child, you couldn't separate me from a book. And now I can't stick with a book for more than a couple minutes and then I'm bored. It doesn't matter if it's fiction or nonfiction. So I'm kind of giving up on this goal because I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that I'm not a reader anymore. That I have to be in a specific like frame of mind and place in my life. And I've been really busy with work and with school and then being sick from the surgery. A book did not happen in January. I can say that. And so maybe February will have a book, but maybe not. So still, something pertaining to my word of the year was kind of what I wanted to do. How to grow and having faith that everything will be okay. Again, the same layout with all my action steps. And I actually have a printable in here for like book of the month kind of thing. I don't want to give up on this just yet. I can't give up. I'm gonna try. My third goal was to improve my study habits and better utilize my learning time. So I am a college student. I go to school online. I'm trying to get my BA in business. I'm a late bloomer. What can I say? A lot of my colleagues have, gone to college when they were younger. I unfortunately did not have those opportunities. And so I'm trying to create it where I'm trying to create something out of nothing. So I've been in college for 2 years. I started in October of 2020. I was one of the people that was still working. And so there was a whole reason I went to the school that I'm at now for certain benefits that I had that I no longer have. But last semester was really, really bad. And I mean, it was bad. I was kind of forced by financial aid to go full time because I was repeating a class and they didn't count it because of the way that the school had it set up to like, if you failed the first time, you could repeat it for free. And so because of that, the financial aid office was like, you're not in enough classes. So I had to add an additional course on top of the class I was repeating and another class I'd added on. And so I was pretty much full-time, also while working full-time. And I passed the class that I had to repeat because that one was the most important one for my major. It was a math course. And I passed it. I barely scraped by the skin of my teeth, but I passed it. And the other 2 classes, one I also scraped by the skin of my teeth, but another one, which is another class for my degree, I actually did not pass. So because that semester traumatized me essentially from school, as someone who I love school, I love learning, I've always been that way, but this was the first time since before I had started college that I felt nervous and scared and like I didn't know what to do. And so I wanted to make my quarterly goal based off of that, improving my study habits getting into the habit of studying and just kind of returning to my former studious self that I had lost during fall semester. So I'm doing a lot of things actually for this, and it's been a slow climb. I'm lucky that the class I'm taking right now is pretty easy for me. It's macroeconomics. And so I'm lucky because I had the surgery and, I kept the professor in the loop about it all. But with it not being a hard class for me, I don't have to put so much energy into it and I can focus more on healing. But improving my study habits and better utilizing my learning time. That was kind of my third goal for March, for the quarter rather. And same thing, my action steps, my rewards, and will I be fine if I don't make it? Only my grades can answer. So far, things are looking good, but we will see. Okay, so with that in mind, I wrote out some of my monthly goals. Now, my monthly goals, I just realized in this moment, don't have anything to do with these goals. And part of the reason is because the goals I had in January more so aligned with my quarterly goals here, particularly these two. And I tried with this one. But I'm gonna try again, but it won't be a goal. I'm just gonna see what I can do. But because I have a study routine already in place, I didn't really feel the need to make that a goal for February. This is just kind of like, I wanted to make sure by the end of March that I improved my study habits, and somehow I was able to do that in a month. So I'm just sticking with the routine that I have now. But my monthly goals for February, I will link the Etsy shop where I purchased this printable from in the description. Because I really like it. Almost everything in my goals section. I think there's like a goal review sheet that I have in here. Yeah. It's from that same printable set. So, oh yeah, before we get into that, let me go over my review then. So my goals for January were these: to pay off my Chase credit card and to pay my tickets. I had $360 in tickets, and that hurt. It hurt. But I got my student refund check and I used it to pay off my Chase card and to pay off my tickets, which I got done actually like the January 5th. So that was done for a while. Creating and completing a to-do list got done, and the study sessions. So since these were done, I decided to have like a little review about what went well, what to do going forward. Paying off this card was a priority because I am working towards becoming debt-free. The reason I had a balance was because last year one of my aunts passed away, and my sister and I, we couldn't make it to the funeral, but we at least wanted to do something, and so we ended up buying the flowers for her funeral. And so because it was a last minute unexpected expense, and because there was just a lot going on during that time, so I just used my credit card to pay for my portion. And the flowers were not cheap. They were not cheap. So that's the reason I had a balance, but I wanted it gone, so I paid it. I paid it off in January. So now that that's gone, I don't have, well, actually I used the card again for something else, but it's a much smaller expense. So I'm assuming it'll be gone, paid off by the end of March. But overall, I have $200 in credit card debt out of my $14,000 credit limit. So I'm really proud of myself with that. The planner card, the cleaning to-do list was important because I live here with my boyfriend, and this is my first time living with the man, and this is his first time living on his own. And so there's like a lot that we have to learn how to do together. And cleaning is one of them because I'm not really a cleaner. He's not really prone to cleaning. And so I was getting tired of nagging about cleaning. And so I wanted us to have like a chore chart. And I know usually that's reserved for like families, but he and we're a family here. So I made a chore chart. I stuck it on the fridge, and I have it where we each have like specific tasks for specific days. And that actually, I created the checklist maybe 2 weeks ago, but I put the whole chore chart on the fridge last week, and it actually has been really successful. So I am happy that it keeps us both accountable to cleaning what we need to clean without me having to nag him or me feeling like I have to do everything. With us both working full time, you know, I don't want to be the only one cleaning our home. It'd be different if I didn't work, but I'm really proud that we stuck to that, and I'm hoping that we continue sticking to it. And so my last goal for January was to go to at least 2 study sessions or watch the study recordings for my economics class. What I ended up doing, I couldn't attend the study sessions because the school that I go to is not a school for working adults. It's just a school for college students. And so they do a lot of scheduling things at like 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm at work. So I actually found a YouTube channel that explains macroeconomics in a really simplified way, in a way that helps me understand it. And it actually helped me with, I scored higher. I just had a midterm 2 weeks ago. It was the first midterm of this class. I have one coming up Saturday, but that one I scored a 73 on. And that's big for me because I'm not really good at test taking. Like, my brain is not as elastic as it used to be. I can't remember all these concepts as easily. And so the fact that I was able to do that well as someone who doesn't test well, I was really proud of myself. And like closed notes, no book, just what's in your brain. So I kind of used that YouTube channel in place of the study sessions because I knew I couldn't get to them. And I really enjoyed it. And so I've got studying to do this week. I've got my exam coming up on Saturday. I'm going to utilize that again once I get that part going. So that's my review of my goals in January. And so looking forward to February, I have just 3 goals. And one of them is financial, one of them is personal, one of them is business. That's kind of what I want to do with my goals, is just make sure that they fall into those 3 categories only. So my financial goal, like I said, is to save $400 this month and $200 per paycheck. That's already not going to be possible because I had an emergency expense come up just last weekend that I had to spend quite a bit of money on. But I'm going to try to save something. This goal is really my goal for the foreseeable future. Is to just try to save $200 per paycheck. The emergency expense that I had was more than this amount, which is why I can't save this amount. But that's still my hope. You know, I'm still gonna try to go over that. Once I file my taxes, my plan is to put most of my refund check in my savings to help push me closer to my emergency fund goal. I have savings challenges, which I talked about in my budgeting video, so I won't go into it here. And so I'm also thinking about following my savings challenge just to have that little bit of surplus. So my second goal is to start working on some goals that I set with Danielle. And Danielle is my dietitian. I've been seeing her since September of last year because, long story, I am predisposed to prediabetes, and so I noticed I had gained a lot of weight and I got scared, and so I wanted to see a dietitian to help me find a way to have a balanced plate. And so I've been seeing her since September. The last time we saw each other was in January, and she actually gave me a pretty long to-do list that I haven't had the time to touch. And so my goal for this month is to start going over some of the things that she and I talked about, like mindful eating and the hunger scale and all these things that I learned that I didn't know before. So that's my goal that's my personal goal for February, is to just try these things. It's hard, but I want to try. And so moving on from there, my last goal for this month is to put a routine in place for my YouTube channel. I don't know if anyone watches these videos, but I like making them. And so I'm going to continue making them until I no longer like it. And I realized I want to upload more and I want to make more, but the editing process is so boring to me. Oh my gosh, I hate editing. So I'm trying to find ways to make my videos as low edit as possible. I'm going to be implementing a film schedule, an edit time frame, and upload days, which right now I kind of don't have. I'm just winging it, but I want to get that in order. And a big reason that I've only got 2 videos up right now is because I talk a lot, and when I'm editing, I cut out a lot of what I talk about. And so I have to learn and just be okay with being a talker. That's me. That's who I am. I love myself regardless. So I have to just be okay with putting that out there in the world and not trying to turn myself into someone I'm not, essentially. So these are the goals that I've outlined for February. Now, I don't necessarily visit my goals section in my planner all that often. And so I wanted to find a way to make sure that these goals were still front and center in my mind. And so what I have here is on my today tab. I created this in lieu of a monthly section. I just list my goals here. And I did the same thing with January. You saw the same kind of sheet. I just made it in Canva, printed it out on some cardstock, washi tape, stuck it to the back, and that was pretty much it. That way, anytime that I'm in the week, I can look here and see, okay, what do I want to focus on? What do I want to put on my to-do list? I've got trackers here that need to be replaced because I did date them. I should not do that next time. But I put my goals here so that I can actually physically see them every single time I open my planner. No excuses, no saying, oh, I forgot, this was my goal. It's right here. So this is my way of keeping myself accountable. So since it's February 1st, these are all very new goals. Obviously, none of them are done because it's the beginning, but I'm really actually pretty excited for seeing, just out of curiosity, if I can do it and how I go about doing it. I'm hoping that everything with the surgery heals fine. I'm hoping that when I go to the doctor tomorrow, that they give me, a clean bill of health, that the stitches can come out soon. Like I'm excited for that part of my life to kind of close so that I can go back to focusing on other things that don't involve my health crisis. So that is pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about the goals that I'm setting, and hopefully you all have goals of your own. If you do, I would love to know what they are, so you can go ahead and comment them down below. Again, every single thing that I showed you guys, I will do my best to link in the description so you guys can also have a copy. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.